Hello, everyone. Today we have an exciting topic. I want to try to
Mhm.
frame it dramatically because it was a dramatic event,
It
and it
is.
was
It
it
was.
was a couple. There's a couple lessons to unpack from this. So let's talk about the $100 billion tweet.
Was it 100?
Why
It is $100 billion tweet, eh?
it was 100 billion according to some. Well, I mean, I've heard two, I've heard one, but at any rate, Google's stock took a dramatic hit yesterday, all because they decided uh, to follow in Microsoft's footsteps and unleash their own AI chat on the world. Now,
Now,
one of the things they're reporting it does is enhance search and information finding. Take it
for
away,
our
Fuad.
for our audiences, I was just going to frame a couple of questions or one question. We're going to uncover: is it a technology problem or is it something else, a marketing problem?
It's
Let's
a
talk
little
about
of both here, actually.
it. Yes.
This is the tweet. Okay, it was a GIF, and I'll play the GIF here in a second. It was a GIF that was designed to show off the ability to ask questions of Bard, the new Google model to compete with ChatGPT. This is built on their Lambda platform. Now they're excited about it, and they were setting up an entire live event with this tweet. But what happened was a little bit interesting. They actually posed a question: what new discoveries from the James Webb Space Telescope can I tell my 9-year-old about? Now, as I understand it, the first 2 points it comes up with are, fairly accurate and correct. The third point is that it took the very first picture of planets outside our own solar system. Now, anyone that's into astronomy and space and exploration knows that that is not true. As I will scroll down to show you the power of, false claims on the internet, you get responses like this one: misinformation is scalable. I mean, fair enough. Fuad, what's your take on this? Is this a social media fail? Is this a uh, AI fail? What's the biggest failing point in this?
As you pointed out, Justin, it's a bit of both, and I think the marketing, the social part is going to be as an example of as a classic example in our industry for the next, if not century, at least a decade. Yeah, uh, the problems are in both places, but it's not unique to Google, and let's uncover that.
I think it's the lesson here, and as we use more and more generative AI to generate posts and blogs and things like that, you really have to understand the technology and what it's good at, what it's bad at, and where it will make you look foolish. In this case, someone kind of just ran with it and didn't think about the facts they were seeing. They just went, "Okay, cool. A 9-year-old can learn 3 things about space." But as you and I both know, having worked with GPT-3 for almost a year now, maybe even more than that, its primary goal is to generate text that looks right, not to be accurate. Let's unpack that.
Absolutely, Justin, and this is where the interesting point is. It actually proves its point that AI is trainable, and training data needs to be validated. In this case, what we see is the perfect example of the AI's fallibility, just like human fallibility. And I think what we need in the long run, we should talk about more of that as well, is a process that can optimize the reliability, the credibility of these outcomes. If we look, as you said, Justin, let's look at the history of this progress. In 2017, I believe, when Google Brain releases the paper on transformer learning, and at that time, what we saw that it was significantly able to increase the efficiency, yeah, and results, outcomes. So OpenAI started using large data sets, training it. Amazing results. We worked with GPT-2. lots of errors. We worked with GPT-3, and when it came to math, for example, even simple additions, simple logics, it was not able to do. Even with GPT 3.5 right now, it's still not that great in math. And when you pose questions that require some expertise in the domain, you will probably find that the answers are probably not accurate. If you Google, uh, ChatGPT mistakes, you'll find many that points out where ChatGPT is doing very poor. And
Yeah, and it's like you said, I mean, it's not just Google's new Bard that's making these mistakes. I mean, GPT, in all its iterations, is known for not admitting when it's wrong or knowing when it's wrong. And there's lots of documented cases. I mean, we put on screen one example here, but I mean, you can find probably thousands of them at this point. I mean, there's entire Reddit threads about the mistakes that GPT, or I won't even say mistakes, just the outright tales it spins.
absolutely, and we are promised that ChatGPT 4 would change that, a lot of that. It will actually have much more reliable outcomes. I believe they will come up with, of course, a lot more training, but also a process that probably validates the reliability of the facts. And I think we're hearing about Lambda, which is also an approach of multi-step, different combined AI models put together in a process delivers an outcome, which ultimately gives a far better, more reliable outcome, of course. And I think Bard is just a very first version. I think probably in result of Microsoft's ChatGPT that's designed to help you get better search results. But I think in this context, fallibility is almost uh, impossible to avoid. Just like when you talk to your family and friends, you will see that even experts within your network, if you scroll through your social feeds, some of them may share misleading news. They weren't able. Sorry, go ahead,
No,
Justin.
I think that's a great point, and I mean, I think the biggest thing people are doing wrong, including whoever at Google put this together, is that really not necessarily how you want to be using this type of tech right now. I mean, without some extensive fact checking of your own going behind it, as you and I both know, with quick shot learning and refining the models themselves, creating custom models, you can get this to become an expert at any given subject. However, to expect out of the box that Bard or even ChatGPT or GPT itself is going to be some kind of expert on anything ever written, ever published,
No, it's
it's
typical.
wild. I mean, it's impossible.
Justin, it's typical. We know in the technology world that if a demo goes wrong, many things go wrong post that. So I think
Oh, I am the king of demos going wrong.
I think the big problem here is the diligence problem. Their demo should have been on something where it performs so good. Imagine if GPT-3 was showing a demo with math in front of his investors. It wouldn't go right.
Yeah, that'd be a bit of a nightmare. It doesn't know algebra.
Right. Or imagine if this question was posed that you were showing on the screen. Yeah, it'd be wrong and it'd go wrong. So I think that's exactly what happened here. Was it worth $100 billion? Well, definitely we know that's the result. But is Google's Bard any better or worse than GPT-3, ChatGPT? What are your thoughts?
It's too soon to tell, right? Because I mean, again, like they're using it for search and factuality, but we know that's not necessarily out of the box strengths. There's a lot of background stuff that happens to make that happen. We were having a conversation with someone the other day where it's just almost like ChatGPT does everything. Well, no, when you do a GPT implementation, there's a lot of programmatic and additional pipelines, additional steps you take to get your result. I mean, for us in Blue Cap to write an email based on a conversation, we have to feed that conversation into GPT so it has the facts available to it to create the text that it's writing. So, I mean, as you said a lot earlier, it comes down to this: garbage in, garbage out. So if the facts you're feeding it are incorrect, then the text it generates will be incorrect. Because I think a lot of people think that this AI is thinking and understanding, and really it's just parsing what it knows and it's mimicking what it thinks we expect. I mean, we don't have AGI yet. This is not some general intelligence that's actually sentient or anything. So, the rule of, and this is a rule in analytics and everything, garbage in, garbage out, right?
But Microsoft is the winner here. They have become the brand of AI. They are known. I mean, AI is almost associated with the whole domain of AI to everyone. ChatGPT is AI. It's like the napkin of the classic example. Everybody refers clinics as napkin. And that's where Google significantly fails. It's a big marketing fail.
Yep. Microsoft now has the Kleenex of generative AI.
Now, where the generative AI is right now, I think in the mindset, businesses, they need to have a tolerance level and reduce that, or not reduce, but optimize the reliability, reduce the range of that tolerance by other AI models, programmatic optimizations, a workflow that fits that meets their requirements. But for explicit decisions, maybe we're not there yet.
Yeah, and I think that's where people are going to need clever integrators such as ourselves who have worked with GPT-3 and seen all the ups and downs of it. I mean, we've made terrible mistakes with it, but we've also had great successes. This is where companies, as they move forward, are going to need a clear, concise plan, and then experts to implement it. So I think there's going to be lots of opportunity in our industry, the industry surrounding this. I mean, on Monday we were having a bit of a moment where we're like, "Wow, Microsoft has destroyed everyone." But no, I mean, as it comes into the not the smaller businesses, but of less magnitude than Microsoft. Not everybody's a monopoly. Uh, it's gonna there's gonna be lots of opportunity here. So I'm excited to see what the future holds. I'm excited to see what the big players come out with, and I'm even more excited to see what the smaller companies come out with because I think there's a lot of room for thoughtful, clever applications of this.
Absolutely, and I think we're going through a race. It's an exciting time. So the big players are racing. Um, we're probably going to see some S curves between these big players, and I'm excited to see who comes out of this very, very strong in the next decade.
Well, we've got one more day in the week after today, so I mean, today even Zoho threw their hat in the ring with the shots fired at Microsoft. All the meeting players, all the integrated workspace players. So it's going to be an exciting time, and I just can't wait to see more announcements, more flubs. This is entertaining at the end of the day. I mean, I don't think they should have lost 100 billion for this. That's a knee jerk reaction.
Our
Uh,
hearts, our hearts go to Google for that. That's
Well, I mean, I
totally
don't have a hundred
justified.
billion, so I don't know if I'd say that. But you know, if you understand the technology, you know that wasn't the biggest flub in the world.
No,
Um,
you're
but I
absolutely
mean, I think actually the biggest lesson to take away from this is whether or not you write your own posts or if you get it generated by AI, double check every single fact in everything you're posting, or
you
else you'll have egg on your face.
absolutely the human integration in your process is a must. This is a great example. We're going to hear about this in textbooks for quite a bit.
Someone became infamous yesterday for sure.
Yes.
All right,
Absolutely.
folks. We figured we'd share this conversation with you. We were having it anyway, and it's been exciting, insightful, and interesting. Have a good
Cheers.
one.
Have a good one.